She quit working out for 30 days and actually lost both weight and body fat percentage. How can this be? You may have heard that weight loss is 80% diet. What if I raise the stakes and say it can be 100% diet if you are strategic with it? For the last 30 days, my co-coach Lucy put this to the test by doing no exercise at all.
My cat gets more exercise than me and she sleeps 16 hours a day.
How much did she really lose over those 30 days?
So over the past year, I gained 5 pounds and a full inch on my waist. And with my wedding coming up soon, I'd really like to get back down to my old size. On top of that, I need to send in my measurements for my dress within the next 4 weeks. So I'm kind of in a time crunch. And here's the other bind. These next 4 weeks are gonna be really stressful for me. And historically, when I try to exercise while also stressed, my cravings shot through the roof. So I want to lose weight as healthily as I can over these next 4 weeks using just diet alone. Partly as a challenge for me, but also to show you that it can be done.
I'm done. That's one.
Now, since I came back home from the holidays, I did manage to lose 2 pounds and a quarter off my waist just from going back to my regular eating routine. But I still have 3 pounds and 3/4 of an inch to go before I'm back to my old size. So my goal is to lose half an inch off my waist, which should map to a 2 to 3 pound weight loss, but I'm more interested in the size than weight. We'll see how far I can get, but I'm not gonna force myself to do anything weird or unnatural. Now, since my maintenance calories while sedentary is 1550 a day, I'll just do a 10% calorie deficit at 1400. I know from previous experience, it's better for me to ease in rather than make a drastic change. Also, since I won't be working out, I want to make sure that I'm getting enough protein so I don't lose too much muscle. I'll start with 70 grams, which is 0.6 times my body weight in pounds, and that should make up 20% of my diet. Now, if I end up losing too much muscle, I'll increase it, but for now, I'll experiment with this. Let's go! What I'm most worried about are the snacks. We got a lot from family and friends over the holidays. So first order of business, dealing with the snacks. The most addictive ones go in the garage. The less addictive ones go in the pantry. Since I get most snackish when I'm at work and my office is located downstairs, that means I have to walk all the way upstairs to access any, which works out for me. I'm also going to bulk cook lots of vegetables so that I have emergency veggies on hand, and drink this big thing of water to keep the cravings away. Now, I'm not the primary cook in my household, so I need to work with whatever my partner makes to make sure all the meals fit within my budget. Thankfully, he makes mostly healthy meals, high in protein and veggies, so I just need to figure out the calories for each recipe and then portion my serving sizes accordingly when I log it.
So I like to use a small bowl to help portion the amount that I use. So if I use a larger bowl, then I tend to add more to it. So if I use a smaller bowl, I'll have a tendency to add a little bit less, and I like to start with the veg. Fill that up first, and then go for the protein.
Then we portion out our lunches into these Tupperwares so I don't have to worry about lunch the next day. Now, originally I planned to take some short walks if the day is nice, more for my mood than anything else. But it was really cold this week.
Oh crap, it's raining.
So I only went out once, and it was a very short walk.
Oh, it's very cold.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to warm up, it's really cold.
So does this count as exercise?
But despite these guardrails I set for myself, I consistently snacked a lot and went over my calorie target. First weigh in. Looks like I gained weight but no inches. So it's likely just water weight and no fat loss progress. This doesn't surprise me since I average close to my maintenance calories.
So I'm not very proud of myself this week, but I'm also not surprised. I was very lax. But I only have 3 more weeks to go, so I need to get serious now.
I looked for the highest contributors to my calories in my food log and saw that they were snacks and desserts. So for this week, my strategy is to cut down to only 1 serving of dessert a day. Let's go! Week 2 was in fact a very difficult week. I took no walks at all due to busyness. During this time, I was also filming a dessert swaps video, which meant I made or bought a bunch of desserts, and now my kitchen is full of them. So I tried to share with roommates with mixed results, or gave them away to neighbors. I definitely slipped and ate more than one serving of dessert a day many days in a row, since there were so many and my busyness plus lack of walks made me crave them. And when push comes to shove, I had to prioritize calories over my protein goal, so I opted to eat more veggies than proteins to fill in the rest of the day. That means I was under this week for protein. Surprisingly, when I entered these numbers into my tracking sheet, it said I not only lost fat, but also gained lean mass.
It's probably just water, but don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right?
And plan for this week. Since I got close to my 1400 calories this time, I'll dial it down to 1350. And try again to do one serving of dessert a day. If anyone makes or buys more dessert, I'm gonna hide it. This time, I'm going to prepare for the steps I'll actually take before surprise sweets show up. I'm also going to use the craving strategies we give in our Badass Body Boss program myself. This includes slowing down eating with water or substituting sweets with something more satiating like veggies. Since veggies helped me stay under calories last week, I decided to double down on that tactic and bulk cook veggies for the purpose of using them for snacks instead of my typical snacks. So if I wanted a cookie, I'll tell myself to reach for a cup of veggies first and then decide if I still want that cookie. Then we got a new roommate.
Ooh, Indian sweets.
Who brought back lots of delicious Indian snacks. How can I say no?
Is this karma for food pushing onto my friends last week?
But learning my lesson from last week, instead of leaving them easily accessible, I hid them behind other stuff in our pantry and continue snacking on vegetables. Or let myself have a piece but then drink lots of water to slow myself down so I wouldn't mindlessly grab for more. He also cooked food for us and I didn't know the ingredients of all of it, so I had to do my best to guess what he cooked.
Okay, so these are paneer tacos, but I see that we also have extra beans and guacamole. So I'll just log a generic paneer taco and add beans and guacamole on top of that.
I'm not going to fuss over getting it exact since we don't have these kinds of meals often. And on the literal bright side, the days got brighter, so I went out for more walks.
It's actually a beautiful Seattle day. No, Gizmo!
While I did get close to my dessert and calories goals for the week, according to my data, I lost almost all muscle this week.
So I knew I was gonna lose some lean mass, but I didn't think I was gonna lose all lean mass.
I let this part of me vent and get it out of my system rather than bottling up my feelings. Then I switched back to my logical brain and reminded myself that it's just 1 week and maybe an anomaly. Also, wait.
What? Okay, so I don't know why my hips went up when all my other body measurements went down, but this is probably why it said I lost so much lean mass.
Now that I'm zooming out to look at the measurements, it looks like this week may have been an anomaly with my hips. It's possible I didn't lose as much lean mass as I thought. Let's give it another week. Right, plan for this week. Take my protein goal seriously. Even if this week was an anomaly, I'm scared for my muscle. I'm going to really stick to it this time.
So I actually want to increase my protein goal, but seeing as how I'm not even able to meet 70 grams yet, why not make things more difficult for myself? So I'm going to keep it 70.
I'm also going to pre-log most of my high protein foods the day before to ensure I get it in the next day. So as you can see here, I've left some room for dinner since I don't want to be too strict about my meals. And I usually have 20 to 25 grams of protein for dinner anyway, so I'm confident this will be okay.
As for my calories, I'm keeping it the same at 1350 since this is still taking some effort to meet, so I don't want to make things harder for myself.
I also roped my partner in to help me. We decided that I'm going to sub out my rice for potatoes because I love potatoes anyway, and they're slightly less calories and satiates me more. I'm also going to use smaller bowls and plates. And yes, we still have sweets, but this time, instead of just relying on veggies to curb cravings, if I really did want a sweet, I would combine it with something satiating and high protein like yogurt. Day 1 ended pretty smoothly when... oh shoot, I forgot. We're going out to eat this Thursday at Indo Cafe. Looks like lots of high carb, high sodium, high oils Indonesian food, and I completely forgot that this is this week. Okay, so here's my plan. Monday's already done, nothing to do about that. But for Tuesday through Wednesday and Friday, I'm planning to actually eat a lower calorie target of 1300. On Thursday, I'll give myself buffer for 1500 so I can eat more at the restaurant. My plan is to eat about 500 calories in healthy breakfast and lunch so that I can have a whopping 1,000 calories available for Indo Cafe. Then from Saturday to Sunday, reset back to 1350. This should average out to be 1350 calories a day over the course of the week. Things went on track for the most part, although sometimes I had to make in-moment adjustments to my pre-logged foods when I changed my mind about what to eat. It was pretty easy to swap things out since I already have most of my protein handled, so I just needed to worry about matching the calories whenever I make a swap. Then on Thursday, I had Greek yogurt for protein and a very light lunch that was pretty much all veggies with some chicken, and that leaves me plenty of room for... yeah. We had a great time, and I made sure to drink lots of water in between bites so I really savor the food and not rush through it. Surprisingly, I didn't feel the need to overeat at all, and this is how much leftovers we had. I feel really satiated and stayed under my 1500 calorie target without a hitch. The rest of the week went smoothly, and I finally met my protein goal. Final check-in day, and what do we have? 25¼ waist. I lost fat and lean mass again, but more fat compared to lean mass, so I call that a win.
Okay, looks like my hips stayed at 35 inches, which means it was actually the second week 2 that was actually the real anomaly, not week 3. And so this had made it seem like I did worse on week 3 than I actually did. So I'm glad I didn't let that derail me. This is why it's so important to be patient and zoom out, people.
Over the past 30 days, I lost 2 pounds, 0.72% body fat, and ½ an inch off my waist. Even though I lost some lean mass, which was expected, I lost more fat mass in comparison. I'm sure I would have lost a lot more lean mass had I forced myself to do a bigger calorie deficit. And I met my goal waist size, which means it's time for dress measurements.
Notice 4 things Lucy did to maximize her chances of success. First, she didn't make things harder than it needed to be. She balanced sustainability with progress by starting at a moderate deficit instead of jumping into something more drastic. She identified her biggest bottleneck and only changed one thing at a time to not overwhelm herself. And when she couldn't reach a target, she looked for ways to try again rather than overcompensate by setting a higher target.
Since this is still taking some effort to meet, so I don't want to make things harder for myself.
When planning, she leveraged both structure and flexibility. She pre-logged some meals but still built in room for flexibility so she can adapt in the moment. When eating out, she figured out how to adjust the rest of the day's calories to account for one planned day of overeating. She also managed her psychology. She focused on the big picture, including measurements and body fat percentage, not just weight. And when things didn't go as planned, she allowed herself to feel upset, neither bottling her feelings up or overreacting to it. She let her feelings out and then zoomed out to apply calm logic. She never beat herself up. And finally, she didn't try to do it alone. She enlisted the help of those around her to support her. And these are all skills we teach our Badass Body Boss students to embody so that weight loss transforms into a sustainable process that adapts to your lifestyle, not the other way around. If these are skills you're interested in learning, check out the sneak peek into our program below. But here's the thing, diet alone is sufficient to help you lose fat, but knowing that versus actually sticking to your diet, whatever that might be, is really hard. And the way that you will be able to stick to any diet, exercise, or any habits is by creating a process. It took me 7 years of painful trial and error to figure out what this process should be. So you don't want to ignore this video that walks step by step in depth into my habit building process. And always remember, you can do it.